All right, you guys, welcome back to the cold front. We are going to talk about something in particular today. We're not going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about something that's been popping up around social media that is one of the dumbest debates I've ever seen the internet spawn. It's with the 100 man versus one gorilla. I'm going to give my 2 cents. We're going to move on, and I hope, at least from my end of things, this kills this pathetic conversation. The specifics and context of the situation have not exactly been outlined, but I'm going to assume a few things. Okay. I'm going to assume this is an average to above average size silverback gorilla. I'm going to assume the 100 men in this scenario are all within fighting age. Let's say 20 to 40. Let's say we've got 10% that are crazy freak athletes, whether they're power lifters, MMA fighters, I don't care. Let's say about 20% are couch potatoes, and everyone else in the middle is amongst all of us average Joes that work out relatively frequently and yeah, we're all dropped into this death arena. I'm assuming this is if you take MMA, octagons are for 1v1. We're just going to take the amount of dead space, space it out to accommodate the ratio of 101 individuals or 100 plus one monster. And we're going to talk about this very briefly. The gorilla, let's just say it's 350 to 400 pounds. It's a freak, 12 times stronger than a human, lift about 1,800 pounds, 1,300 psi bite force, 25-mile-an-hour charge speed. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is shredding. This is shredding, the mountain from Game of Thrones up, no problem. But the thing no one's talking about, and this is why this is a very short conversation, is muscle physiology. If you don't know, I'm a physical therapist. If there's one thing I do feel equipped to discuss, it's musculoskeletal system, neuromuscular, neuromuscular systems, and this is just one of those things that no one seems to be talking about. Like everyone's like, "Oh, look at the gorilla. It's this, it's that much bigger." You're right, but the debate isn't one gorilla versus one guy. That's not a debate either. This is one gorilla versus 100 men. Do people even realize how many people 100 men is? Even if they don't have weapons. Here's the thing. Here's what would happen, right? Because we're talking type 1 versus type 2 muscle fibers. This isn't a dissertation on muscle fibers, and there's multiple variations of type 2 muscle fibers. But there are some things about human beings that the good Lord has made similar across multiple species. Gorilla's one of it's essentially the power lifter of the animal kingdom, right? The reason it can't hold up for more than 10 minutes in a fight of any kind is the same reason that a cheetah can't run for 70 miles an hour for more than a few seconds. That's because its muscles are built for speed and power, not for endurance output. And at the end of the day, that turns out to be pretty important when it comes to a fight. Human beings are just built more aerobically. We have I mean, from the specs I've found, girls like 80% type 2, and we're 50. And what that looks like in practicality is they can use all those explosive muscle fibers in the gorilla for about 5 to 10 minutes before those muscle fibers stop firing like they're supposed to. And we can do that for about 30 to 35 minutes if you're an average human being. And that's timesing 100. Okay. And you're also accounting for the fact that gorillas are stupid. I know they're probably smarter than some other animals, but have you never watched a gorilla fight? It's kind of sad. They bump their chest, they grab something, they throw it, and they run away. That's their strategy. Okay, and we're not putting a Terminator system in the gorilla where it can like find high value targets, isolate them, and eliminate them, and force them in all into these different sections. Here's what would happen. Okay, this big monster we just talked about kill 1 to 2 guys. And instead of continuing on its death path, it don't matter how many times you interview the gorilla and tell it, hey, this is a fight to the death, right? You can tell it that till you're blue in the face. It's just going to. This is the same animal that was caught on video like a few months ago, eating the feces falling out of it in the moment into its hand, put it back in its mouth. This is not a smart animal. Okay, so what would happen? See 100 men, and if any of these groups is running away, it's the gorilla because it can do the calculus in its head enough of that's more than me. I'm leaving. And if it doesn't decide to do that, what would happen is it would kill 1 to 2 guys or brutally wound them. And instead of continuing down the line to do the math that would actually win the debate right here, that would actually give you the money if you were betting in this situation, it would take those 1 to 2 bodies. It would probably play with them, throw them around, beat its chest. It would use all that type 2 muscle fiber energy up, being chauvinistic to the point where it's exhausted and breathing hard. And then the other 97 men would just collapse and kill it. You're like, well, how can you collapse and kill it because it can lift 1,800 pounds? The muscle fiber, that's at fresh capacity, right? If I go do my 10 rep max on a bench press and I tax my muscle, I do 3 sets of 10 of that. And you ask me to do some push ups, can't do it in push ups. Whereas if I was fresh, you could do multiple rounds of push ups. That same concept applies to the gorilla. It cannot go that long, even if it was being efficient, even if it knew it, even if it's smart enough and had put the human brain in the gorilla, it cannot physically go hard enough for long enough to even accomplish this task. If the men were all standing still, it couldn't do it. All right. And that's just an understanding of like your first class in physiology. So let's just end the debate right now. The only way the gorilla wins is if the men almost force it to win. Maybe you have a bunch of suicidal guys, maybe a bunch of guys who don't speak the same language, they're not happy in life anyways. That's the only way this happens. Okay. The men have to lose, not the gorilla's gonna win. The gorilla, and even if the men are voluntarily throwing themselves at it, it probably is still too dumb to understand what's going on. It's gonna run away, it's not gonna kill enough guys. It's just the way that it is. This is not a predator. This is a territorial creature, and it's not made to do this. So I'm hoping, with all due respect to all of you who have been voting gorilla for this, hoping this ends some of the debates and some of the nonsense because I'm putting my money on the men every single day of the week, partially because gorillas are so overrated, and another partially because men are way, way underrated, bro. We don't need tools, especially to get 100 of us versus one animal. So come talk to me again if we put a hippopotamus against us or maybe an elephant. Other than that, pick a man every day of the week for obvious reasons.